What is going on, Flex Zone family? Happy Hump Day, happy Wednesday, and we're back with a special in between the zone here on the Flex Zone YouTube. That's right, the Flex Zone podcast. If you're watching right now, hit that like button, share it, hit that bell for notifications, and subscribe, as well as on Facebook, the Flex Zone One, Instagram, and email us gmail.com, the Flex Zone One at gmail.com. Special YouTube live and Facebook live on this Wednesday evening as we're talking NFL free agency and quarterbacks on the move. I got my brother with me, running the two-man offense, the tribal chief, the flex zone messiah, the straw that stirs the drink, the super producer, the man of a thousand nicknames, the man more phenomenal than AJ Styles, the host of Good Morning Baltimore each and every morning on WEAA, Voice of the Community. Drizzy Dre, what's up, my brother?
What's going on, good brother? And a lot's been happening in the sports world, so I'm anxious to get to work.
As you like to say, the hits keep on coming, and they started really on Monday, the fireworks, and we can kind of get into your boy first, the one you call a bad man.
The bad man.
Probably the best quarterback right now after the retirement of Tom Brady, depending on who you ask. It's none other than Mr. Aaron Rodgers. He resigned with the Packers. Reports came out that it was upwards of 250 million, but he tweeted out that he had not quite signed a contract yet. But it looks like this contract is going to make him the highest paid quarterback in all the land, making upwards close to 50 million a year. Dre,
Woo!
he resigned. He's back. I don't think we doubted he was going to stay in Green Bay. We just know he wanted to get that bag. And now the landscape of the NFC has changed. No Brady. Your Rams won a Super Bowl, but the NFC is wide open. So, Dre, I'm going to just get your initial thoughts on Aaron Rodgers. Did you think this was going to happen? And does he deserve to be paid this much?
I didn't expect for this much, but yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers deserved to get paid. I figured that he would stay in Green Bay. When you looked at the options that were really out there, they were talking about really what Pittsburgh, Denver, and I'm pretty sure some other team, maybe what San Francisco out there. Um, but I didn't see Aaron Rodgers really leaving Green Bay. When you just think about everything that the Packers have, what he means to Packer Nation, I just felt like uh, the Jordan Love thing just left a sour taste in his mouth, and I figured that he wanted more. And back-to-back MVPs, I mean, they would be foolish to let Aaron Rodgers walk out the door. So, like you said, now that Tom Brady's retired, I mean, it was always like to me, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, as who was the best quarterback in the league. And though he hasn't won a Super Bowl in a while, Aaron Rodgers is still the best quarterback right now in the National Football League. And it just feels right, when people stick with a team and a situation. And I didn't want Aaron Rodgers to kind of go out like Tom Brady, Joe Montana. I mean, we could go on a list of, quarterbacks who have gone on to other teams. So I think that this is right. And I mean, Brett Favre, we could go on and on about the list of quarterbacks who have gone on to different teams. But I'm happy that Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers got this done. Highest paid quarterback, sure. If you're the best of the best, then okay, give you your money. And apparently, this contract isn't going to hurt Green Bay as much as people think. That they think that these quarterbacks, and you hear these numbers, they're saying that it's going to be the cap hit will be later, so it'll help Green Bay. And it'll keep them relevant. I mean, when you think about if he was to go anywhere else, I mean, like if you think about it, like Russell just got traded to Denver, but look who you got to go through within that division. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got um, Derek Carr, and you got Justin Herbert. So, and then if he had went to the AFC North, he would have had Lamar Jackson. He would have had um, the
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. So because we don't talk about Baker Mayfield, but so I mean I'm just thinking about teams like that, or if he had went to let's say he had went to San Francisco, Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. That team, though they're up and down, they're still a competitive team. The Seahawks are clearly in a rebuild, but I mean that would have still been a situation right there to go to as well. So I think he just has an easier path sticking with the Green Bay Packers, and it just like I said, it just feels right that he's staying. Similar to
Yeah,
the Greek Freak in with the Bucks.
in the same state, so works out perfectly.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, look at his division. You get the Lions twice. Okay, yeah, they play hard,
Mhm.
but you ain't going to lose to them. You
Oh
get the
no.
Bears twice. I mean, outside of Justin Fields, you really can't name too many players, and they got a rookie head coach. You got the Vikings, and shout out to AJ. But one week Kirk Cousins could look as good as Aaron Rodgers, then the next week he looks like he should be in a State Farm commercial playing Jake. I mean, that team is up and down, and are they better than the Packers? Hell no, because not only did they
No.
get Aaron Rodgers, they got Devontae Adams back on the franchise tag. He'll probably get his money as well. So you're looking at that division, and I'll pull up their schedule in a second. But I mean, Dre, they are going to walk into possibly home field for the third straight year.
I mean, and nobody wants to go to Green Bay. I mean, you know, Shannon Sharp had made a good point about um, the Rams, and he was saying that we're making we're having a different story if it's the Rams and the Rams going to Green Bay as opposed to the Rams going to San Francisco. I'm sorry, San Francisco going to the Rams. So, um, who knows? I mean, granted, Green Bay has laid some eggs over the past couple of playoff runs, but you still don't want to go to cold Green Bay with the snow and everything. So that's still a home field advantage within of itself. And you just think about what this team could possibly do at this point. They just need that Super Bowl run. If Aaron Rodgers can just get one more, similar to what Peyton Manning was able to do with the Broncos, or what Eli Manning was able to do. Granted, he's got one. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but if he can just get one more, just because of the MVPs, then that just puts the cherry on top of the cake.
And we spoke of cherry on top of the cake. Back to the schedule. I mean, I'll read it out. Obviously, the dates and times to be determined, but we do have the opponents. Obviously, schedule will be out next month. They go to the Washington Commanders. Of course, the Bears.
Win.
Bears twice. Right. Yeah,
Win. Like,
yeah,
I'm just saying,
right.
win.
Bears twice, Lions twice, Vikings twice. They play the Cowboys in Lambeau. That's a win in my opinion. They get the Giants in Lambeau. They get the Patriots in Lambeau, the Jets in Lambeau. You know I say they play every game in Lambeau, Dre. It's just showing it right here. They go to Miami. They go to Philly. Might have to take a drive up north, Dre. Get a cheesesteak. A
I'm
game
with
that
it,
could
brother. Let
be,
me know.
I mean,
Honestly, just from looking at their schedule,
Buffalo, Tennessee, the Rams. Obviously, that'll be a tough one. And that Tampa, no Tom Brady. So outside of going to Buffalo and the Rams, I mean, are you really worried?
it seems like from looking at the schedule, the Bills, Titans, and Rams are their hardest portion of the schedule. Outside of that, I mean, Miami, letting go of Brian Flores, I can see that as an easy win. Philadelphia, we don't know what we're going to get out of Philadelphia. Uh, Dallas, it'll be a competitive game, but I doubt if Dallas will win. And the rest of the teams is just like within their division. Like I said, it's just win, 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 win. So, and right now, Tampa doesn't have a quarterback. So their hardest part of the schedule isn't until later in the season, and by then they probably already locked up home field, and they might be on rest. They might be on a 3 week rest at that point. So, um,
Yeah, their game. I mean, the home games, even with the Titans and Rams, they're at home. They go to Buffalo. That could be a loss. They get New England at home. They get Dallas at home. So I mean, maybe three losses max, and that's just off the top of my head.
yeah. So that's how I pick it. Three with that schedule, it should be no more than three losses at max. And like I said, those three losses may come towards the end with Buffalo, Tennessee, and the Rams. So they may lose one or two games within that realm. And then it's always some upset, like last year when they lost to the Saints, and then they just ran the table after that.
I'll say
So
this: maybe the Washington Commanders game, it is here in Landover. It may be a tough game, so that could be competitive. With the defense of Chase Young, Washington they do play hard with Ron Rivera. We will get to their new quarterback a little later, but I mean he's hot and cold too. So who knows who might show up on that day? But anything can happen. Like you say, it's always one or two games a year. A team slips up, they play tough, they may lose, or a team they take lightly. It happens. Long season.
like you said, we'll see.
Yeah, so that was we thought the biggest bombshell we were going to get. And shout out to everybody tuning in. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the Flex Zone podcast, and then I think Denver told us hold our IPA, right, Dre? I mean they
Yes.
literally within minutes had Russell Wilson, and I think I had put this in the group chat as soon as I saw it, traded to the Denver Broncos for a haul, which includes
Woo.
three players: Noah Fant, Drew Lock, Shelby Harrison, defensive lineman, two first round picks. They send back a fourth, they get a fifth back. A big haul for Russell Wilson, maybe the biggest haul in NFL trade history. Kind of reminds you of an NBA trade with all the pieces moving, three players, picks galore. Looks like Seattle's rebuilding. Russ, you're a big fan of him, Dre. They say let Russ cook. He gets to go to Denver, but it ain't gonna be easy out there.
No, it's not going to be easy. But I mean, we saw how Seattle was. Seattle was already in a rebuilding stage. I was kind of surprised because we heard about Washington was one of the teams that wanted Russ.
Apparently, they made an offer, but
Mhm.
they denied it and went with the Broncos.
Because they said that they didn't want him in the same division, which I
Right.
understood. But I was also thinking about Sierra in this case because we keep talking about him being married to an entertainer. So I would just think that the DC market would be something that he would want to be a part of. Maybe New York, but I mean, any of the New York teams, they wouldn't. They're not relevant enough right now for Russ to win a championship. Denver, we keep saying, is missing a quarterback. We keep emphasizing this over and over. Hence why Aaron Rodgers talked about going there. Deshaun Watson, and now Russ is the one who ultimately goes over to the Denver Broncos. And this is even though they have a tough division, this is a team to still compete with. I
They
mean,
won
granted,
7 games with no quarterback.
yes. So I mean, granted, they have a good defense, some wide receiver options. So and this is a competitive team that will play hard each and every down. So now they have the quarterback. Now they can be in a Super Bowl contention. Russ is not wasting, and Russ can finally be able to cook again because the Seattle Seahawks, as we saw, they weren't going anywhere, and it's just kind of sad how fast that thing just kind of collapsed. Over the years, you think about the Legion of Boom, and then situations happening such as Richard Sherman leaving, um, uh, the the Ravens. We had him at one
Oh,
point.
Earl
Earl
Thomas. Yeah.
Thomas. Bobby Wagner's now gone. So like we just keep thinking about the number of players that have just not been there for Seattle, and now all I could think about is DK Metcalf. Honestly, right now, so Seattle's in a rebuilding. So it was best that they did this. It was kind of shocking, but we knew that eventually this was going to come, and we knew a trade was going to come, whether it was Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. We talked about the trade rumors for a very long time, and now they finally come about. So Russ to Denver, I like it. It's not too far of a move for Russ and Sierra. So good stuff for Russ and good stuff for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, looking at it, I mean, they gave up a lot, but when you got a chance to get, I mean, people forget Russ was hurt last year. He's still arguably a top five quarterback, depending on who you ask. Definitely top 10, but he's in that top five potentially.
Oh, definitely. That's why I said. I mean, Denver won. I know we when we talked about the trade for um, between Ben Simmons and James Harden about who won the Nets or the 76ers long term and short term. This is another ordeal where you have a team, and I think that though Denver gave up a lot to get Russ, and but I think that honestly, um, Denver won. I mean, you when you get your quarterback, everything else is just falls into motion. Similar to like LeBron with the um, when LeBron makes it to a team. Yes, there are some things, some consequences on the back end, but you
What's
got what
going
you
on,
need.
Engraving?
My
Appreciate you
man, what's
tapping in,
going
my
on,
brother.
man? Appreciate you. They did give up a lot, but I think that when you get your quarterback, it's worth it. That's right nowadays. If you don't have a quarterback, it just seems like you're not winning. You're not winning games or in contention for a championship.
Hey Dre, look at the last two Super Bowl champions. Tampa went and got their guy Tom Brady. Your Rams go get Matt Stafford, give up two first round picks to the Lions. They go get a Super Bowl. I mean, do the Broncos have a chance? They won 7 games last year. This obviously is an upgrade. We know who's in the division, but I mean the AFC just got tougher.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, even though the division is tough, it's winnable because I mean, Patrick Mahomes. You don't know what Patrick Mahomes you're going to get. Derek Carr, that team has been an up and down team, and you don't know sometimes what you're going to get with Derek Carr either. And Justin Herbert, we've seen him, though the Chargers are good, we don't know
They
what
going
the
Charger.
Chargers can be
They
because
going Charger.
they haven't even been a playoff team yet. So if not a division title, at least a wild card. So I could see them at least getting, like you said, into the playoffs. I mean, they've won 7 games. You add Russ, that's an automatic 10 games at least, 9 to 10 right there. So I think that it's worth it. And Denver feels like they are just a quarterback away. And like I said, I've listed the quarterbacks who they've talked about with Denver possibly obtaining, and now they finally got their guy. Let's see what they can do. And I see you got the schedule up.
Yeah,
Let's
they
go
they
through the
did it
schedule.
with. I was gonna say they did it with, as D would say, Peyton Manning got
Oh,
their
please
Super
don't call
Bowl.
him Pay,
got got
man.
got the two Super Bowls. One obviously that debacle in New York against the Seahawks, Russ's Seahawks, and then now they make a move, get Russell Wilson, who's only what 33, so he's got
Yeah.
4 to 5 good years left in him at least. I mean, he takes care of his body just as good as anybody. But yeah, let's look at the schedule, Dre. Obviously, the Chiefs twice, Chargers twice, Vegas twice. They get the Texans. We know what's going to happen there. Might be Hammer. I mean, because I don't think Deshaun, I don't know where he goes, but I don't know if he's a Texan. You got the Colts. That'll be an interesting game, but they don't have a quarterback right now. So, I mean, you got to think
Definitely.
the Broncos, the Cardinals. Who knows what's going to happen with Kyler Murray and that team?
San
San
Fran.
Fran. I
Ooh.
mean, it'll probably be Trey Lance as your starter. Looks like Jimmy G will be on the move in the coming days. At the Jaguars, I mean, we love Mr. Khan, but they ain't doing nothing. The Chiefs, obviously, oh, they get to go to your Rams. That'll be a big time test, possible Super Bowl preview. Titans, and he gets to go back to Seattle. Dre, it's ironic that the schedule worked out this way. He goes back to Seattle to play his former team this coming season. They come here to play the Ravens, so that could be a game to look into, Dre, as well. They go to Carolina and they get the Jets. I mean, not a cakewalk because it's a lot of AFC teams and they do play
Uh,
some NFC teams like the Rams, but I could see 10 wins. I could see 10.
honestly, I'm seeing 9 to 10 right there.
Okay.
We because I think that they within their division they split. It's not going to be like I said. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk from the
That's
past. I
that's
think that
Murder's Row. That's any given Sunday.
so I think that especially because like I said, sometimes the quarterbacks are just so up and down. I know we like to crown Patrick Mahomes, but we saw this season that Superman is meant as kryptonite. I don't know what's been going on with Patrick Mahomes, but we kind of saw a downturn since that Super Bowl against against the Buccaneers. So I think that he can at least split right there. The Raiders, they can split with them. And the Chargers, they may either sweep them or split with them too, because you don't know what's going to happen with that team. And then when you just think about some other teams, like the Colts were unsure about their quarterback position. The 49ers were unsure about their quarterback position. You don't know what you're going to get, like you said, with the Arizona Cardinals. When you look at I think that the Titans, I think that
Yeah.
that could be a winnable game. Of course, the Seahawks to me is a winnable game. The Panthers. So I think that they have some games. I mean, I like it that they're playing, Baltimore, and then they're also, if I'm not mistaken, that was the team that we had some issues with, correct? With
Yeah,
the head
remember
coach.
Lamar did the run at the end of the game that continued the record and Vic Fangio. Now they got Aaron Rodgers from OC Hackett. So that's gonna be a big time game. I'm expecting that game to be maybe late in the season with playoff implications.
So yeah, I mean, we don't know what, like I said, we don't know about that game. So yeah, I think, like I said, it's about 9 to 10 I can see in there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Denver Broncos will do this season. I mean, like I said, I mean, football. You know, this is when you hear about these free agent moves, whether it's the NFL or the NBA. You just get really excited because then you're just ready for the season just to start. You know, you're saying, forget these next 6 months. Can we get to it now? But I'm really excited for both Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson right now.
And there are rumors that, um, yeah, Engraven, we agree with you, brother. Thank you for watching. Do you think that there are rumors that your boy Von Miller could be going back to Denver as well? He is a free agent. That's another piece they could add, and I believe the Broncos have a good amount of cap room too.
Yeah, they do. Who? Von Miller back though. I don't. The only way I could see him maybe going back is if if he decides like he's about to hang it up and this might be like his final season. Uh, Maybe, but outside of that, I wouldn't see why he would go back to Denver. But I mean, we'll see. You like Engraven saying free agency about to be crazy, so we don't know who's signing who or who's signing where.
And
Uh,
that's the thing. Teams haven't even signed people yet. They don't start signing people till next week. So it's gonna be crazy. A lot of money
but
to
I
be
would
handed
I
up.
would like to, if Von Miller was to go somewhere, the Ravens, we do need a pass rusher, and we could definitely use his services because I've always told you I feel like the Ravens, if we can just get just a few pieces, I told you I felt like the if we could just get a pass rusher, tighten up the secondary just a little bit because I feel like the secondary is good, but if we just be tightened up just a little bit, and of course get that go to guy. Maybe it is Bateman. Maybe we have something right there. But if we can just get that, I think that the Ravens are making a lot of noise too.
Yeah, I know you riding with Balsall High University.
Oh, you already know.
Which team do you think Rod said he would love Von Miller? There are some pass rushers on the market. Engraven, I know he's been doing videos about free agent targets. A lot of pass rushers that the Ravens could sign that aren't too expensive, could get production out of. But what team, Dre, and we can talk more about this in the coming days and weeks as we see the moves, the chess pieces move. But what team do you think goes further right now? The Packers, who seem to have the, I guess, the easiest road I've seen in the NFC because outside the Rams,
Basically
I'm
a
not
layup
really,
line.
yeah, and the Broncos may not even win their division. I mean, who do you think goes further in this season?
I'm automatically going to say the Packers. Just thinking about the two schedules, and honestly, what Green Bay has been able to do back to back MVPs, number one seeds. I just think that, and then like I said, the schedule as well. I have to give the nod to Green Bay right now.
Andre Mary, shout out to Andre. He says Broncos.
You think the Broncos? All right, Andre, comment, man. Tell me why you say the Broncos over the Packers right now.
But while Andre types that up, we had one more move, Dre, that you mentioned before we came on air, and it was Carson Wentz to the Commanders. Now, Cavante and Tristan, our resident WFT fans, will be doing some stuff later this week talking about that. But I do want to touch on that a little bit as Andre responds. Aaron Rodgers always lets you down.
You know what? That's true. But he's asking who has the easier path. I think the Packers have the easier path to get into the playoffs, but once you get there, it's a different animal. I mean, the Broncos could go on a run like the Giants did, and just maybe get in right at like slightly above 500 and win games, so that way they can make some noise. But at least getting to the playoffs, Green Bay clearly has the easiest path and probably the number one seed locked up already before the season even started.
And that's the thing, Dre. After looking at that schedule, and I've been bigger critic of Aaron Rodgers as anybody when it comes to playoffs. But
Exactly.
I mean, I know there are rumors that they are cap stricken and they could lose a few pieces on defense. I think now that Aaron Rodgers is back, you're going to add more pieces to that team. They got Devontae back. The defense, I think, will still be good enough. They'll have home field in my prediction. I mean, they gotta at least get to the NFC Championship game. I mean, like we said, they don't lose maybe more than 3 or 4 games. They're gonna have home field. I mean, they know what happened last year. They laid the egg. They got to get to at least the NFC Championship game, man. They got to.
No, to me, honestly, I don't think that's the standard with Green Bay anymore. Super
Super
Bowl or
Bowl.
bust. At this point, Super Bowl is Super Bowl because there's no way that Aaron Rodgers has back-to-back MVPs like that. There's no way that they have the number one seed and then to not make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, they've made it to the NFC Championship game because they took on the Packers. I mean the Buccaneers,
Yep.
and they've been close. I remember their game against um, Dallas a few years ago, and then just beating Dallas, and then going to another NFC Championship game. I think they took on Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, that year. I don't remember, but they've just been to enough NFC Championship games to meet. At this point, no, it's not the NBA where a conference championship is enough. No, at this point, a Super Bowl or bust is the type of mentality they need to enter this season with. As far as Carson Wentz to the Commanders, I'm
Is
a
it an
little shocked.
upgrade? Do you think it's an upgrade? I mean, they gave up 2/3. You thought they could do better?
Um, I'm shocked by it, but I don't. I'm only shocked because I thought that he would have stayed longer with the Colts. I thought that with him having his old coach, and I just figured that okay, Carson Wentz has some time to kind of get his feet wet and make things happen. But it is a oh yeah, the salute.
Gotta give him a salute. For he's a
But
commander now.
it's an upgrade, but it's a slight upgrade because Carson Wentz is a above average quarterback, but at the same time, I think that it's not giving. Like Russ, you're like, oh, Russ is coming. That's giving. Um, Carson Wentz is just like to me, it's a typical safe move for the Commanders. But does it put butts in the seats? No, it doesn't put butts in the seats. Russ puts butts in the seats. But this isn't something where I'm thinking like, all right, they're really gonna make a splash because yes, he's better than uh Brian Fitzpatrick, but at the same time, it's not like I said, you're not it's like I said, it doesn't to me it doesn't put butts in the seats. I don't think that it makes them um a team. I mean, and hopefully, if you could pull that schedule up, but I don't
Working
think
on it.
that.
Got you.
But I don't think that this move does anything to make the needle move. Since we're talking about the tribal chief and everything, it's not a needle mover move.
Good use there. Let me pull up that schedule for you. I mean, now I'm not gonna lie. When Cravante and Tristan did do the breakdown of the Commanders, I thought the Washington schedule was not that bad. Now I don't remember it. We're gonna look at it, but let me get to that comment,
All
Dre, as
right,
you look over that schedule.
here we
But
go. The Bears.
is he motivated going back to? Now that's a good point, Dre. What Andre Murray said, he's going back to play his former team twice. That gave up on him, traded him against a quarterback that replaced him. Remember, they drafted Jalen Hurts, and he was still there.
Well, here's the thing too. This is a make or break season for Jalen Hurts because we're coming up on that quarterback talk about whether you pay him or you move on. So he's going to be motivated too. Philly isn't doing bad. We thought that Philly would actually take a downshift, but Philly actually made it into the playoffs. So I feel like I think he's motivated too.
Rise, always
Honestly,
lose.
yeah, I don't think that Carson Wentz doesn't seem that motivated to me. I mean, I thought the motivation would have came to go to the Colts, but maybe he just isn't that guy anymore. So I'm not sure about that. And like I
And the
said, when you
crazy thing is, he laid the egg. They had a layup. Speaking of layups, week
oh yeah,
17 in Jacksonville, they win their in, and I think they could have made some noise, and they lay an egg. He lays the egg.
exactly. So I think that I mean when you do a quick breakdown of their division, like I said, Philly looks like they actually got good. I'm not saying that they're a great team, but they're at least a contending team who can make the playoffs.
They got three
That
ones, three first-round picks this year.
you got Dallas in there. I mean, Dallas honestly will probably win the division by default. The only team that I could see possibly them winning over is the Giants, but we don't know because the Giants just upgraded their head coach, and this is a make or break season for their quarterback, as well as their running back. So we don't know. I'm honestly not sure. I don't think that it. Like I said, it's not a needle move to me. So we'll see. And
All right. So let's look at the schedule. They got the Bears. They got the Cowboys twice, of course. They get to go to the Lions, Texans, Colts, Giants twice, Eagles twice. Go to San Fran, Green Bay at home in Landover, Minnesota at home, Jacksonville at home, Tennessee at home. They get to go. Cleveland is here, and they get Atlanta here. I mean, they got a favorable home
yeah,
schedule though.
they do, but I still don't see more than maybe 6, possibly 7 wins for this team. Um,
You know
what's
what the
really
key?
going?
The key is going to be that defense. They got to
Yeah,
play elite.
exactly. I think that the defense will be the key, but they don't have anybody really on offense that's going to make you, to me, make you, it doesn't it doesn't do anything for me as far as the offense of Washington. Yes, it's an upgrade for the quarterback position, but it's not too much. I mean, like the Bears, we don't know what type of Bears team we're going to get. Um, the Colts, he'll be motivated to play the Colts, but I think the Colts put a whooping on them and probably win. Um, can you
Oh
continue? Go
yeah,
ahead,
got
brother.
you, brother. Yeah.
Um, I think that Philly, he may split with Philly. I'm not going to totally say that it's a sweep, but I think that they can at least split with Philly. I think that Dallas. I think honestly, he'll probably get swept by Dallas. Yeah, even though we don't know what type of Dallas team they're going to play, I think that Dallas will probably sweep Washington this year. Um, Green Bay, that's an automatic dub. Don't even bother. Uh, the Vikings, we don't know what type of Vikings team we're going to get. Um, and you know what? That might actually be. I may switch it to 5 or 6 because remember he's playing the Jaguars, and that's against his former head coach and
Doug Peterson is the new coach. You're right. You're right.
a better quarterback with Fabio down there. So he may lose that, and then honestly, against the Titans, we don't know. We don't know. The Titans could be an up and down team as well. We don't know what we're going to get with them. So, in May, I think I'm changing my pick from about 6 to 7 to now 5 or 6. That range.
You went down. You went
I
down
went
on.
down.
Okay. I mean,
I'm taking the under this time. I'm not
you
taking the
taking the
over.
under. I mean, I can't really argue with you because they could get swept by and I think the Giants might be the second best team in that division this coming season because I think they got the right coach
Yeah, they
that's
got the
going to
right
motivate
coach.
them.
But like I said, the only my only issue with the Giants is that I don't know with the quarterback and the running back. So to me, this is a make or break for them too because they're going to want their money, but also what are they going to do as far as the future of the Giants? So it's unsure right now.
Raj asks, what free agents should we target? I mean, Raj, the Ravens aren't going to spend a lot of money. Now, I mean, Dre did talk about pass rush. I would love to get Chandler Jones. That would be number one on my list. I mean,
Mhm.
you talk about a pass rusher, he can go back. He could be pretty much what Terrell Suggs was for us in the early and mid 2000s. I mean, let me see who else, just to throw some names out there who we might could get. I mean, could we get the Honey Badger, Dre? Tyron Matthew, you said secondary
Yes,
could be an upgrade. Safety.
that would if we could get those two moves, yes. But
Just naming some
wide
names.
wide receiver, I'm not totally sure who's available, but um,
You got
I
Chris
keep
Godwin of the Bucks, but you know we're not paying for him. I mean, could they bring back Ryan Jensen, the center, to play O line? Raj, I wouldn't be mad at it if they could pay him. I mean, he's going to be good on the offensive line. We talked about they need to keep Lamar
yes.
upright. I
We
mean,
we need moves at the offensive line position, but I think that, like I said, for me, the Ravens and Engraven, if you're still on, please chime in too, brother, because I would definitely love your input on what I'm about to say. I think that the Ravens were best when we had that go-to guy in the middle, and what I mean by that go-to guy is somebody like an Anquan Bolden, Derek Mason, who could just when you just needed to just throw it, Steve Smith, when you just need to throw it and just get it to somebody, I think that's to me perfect for the Ravens right there. If we could get that, because
okay.
we
I didn't see they franchise him, Andre. Got you.
were because we were able to, we're able to run the football well. Mark Andrews does some spectacular catches. Um, Marquise, I think that he's going to be motivated to do some things this season. So I think if they could just get that guy in the middle, and you can make an argument that maybe Andrews is that go to guy, but I think that if they could just have that guy to just kind of like be like, all right, we gotta watch out for him, um, and take some pressure off of Mark Andrews, I think that that'll help the Ravens offense tremendously.
I mean, keep going. Randy Gregory of the Cowboys, he could be cheap for pass rusher. I know he's goofy off the field, but he can play. You have, I just passed him, Hassan Reddick. He played well for Carolina. I mean, I think the Ravens should try to get a guy that can rush the pass, and then with their offensive line, address it in the draft, get somebody young. What is Rod saying about Hollywood? Got to put his pictures back up on Twitter first. I mean, him and Lamar are too cool. I don't think this will be a big issue.
Honestly, I don't think that the issue is with Lamar Jackson because I mean, like you said, they hang out in the offseason. He hangs out with both Marquise and Antonio, so I don't think that it's an issue as far as those two. I think that it's more maybe an organizational thing, but I think that you got to be careful with that too because Marquise, you ain't been playing too well, brother. So don't be sitting over here like it's just the Ravens. You haven't performed, and sometimes when the Ravens have needed you, you've dropped passes.
Right. Agreed. You agreed. I mean, he has his 50 option picked up, so this is a big year for him. He wants to get around 20 million because that looks like the price of wide receivers now. He ain't worth that right now.
Hell no, he ain't worth no damn 20 mil. No, no.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
You you know you he's gotta perform before he demands that type of money. I could see if he was balling like Andrews, he's worth
Look,
money.
look, I'm glad they
But
paid him last year because he would have been worth
yeah,
more now.
exactly. Yesterday's price is not
Not
today's
today's
price.
price.
And Marquise, you better go in. You can't go in there with that mentality, dog, because I would show you the door expeditiously.
You got Akeem Hicks of the Bears. He plays D lineman. We need a D lineman. I mean, maybe bring back a Calais Campbell or Justin Houston on a team friendly deal. But you know the Ravens don't do much in free agency like that as far as big names. They may get a couple, like you say, Dre, a couple secondary pieces here and there, but they ain't making too much splashes.
No, but hopefully, we can get out of that mentality and add a couple of those guys. I mean, I would that would be so great if we could add the Honey Badger and then a pass rusher. That would definitely tremendously help. And then maybe one other piece if they could find some type of wide receiver other than Sammy Watkins.
I mean, they got to fix the defense. I agree. Defense was terrible last year, and they
But I
do
mean,
need
was it
to.
wasn't all their fault though? Because I mean, the Ravens had so many injuries that you can make a whole team out of that. I mean, how
Right.
how depleted they were. So I don't totally blame the defense because I know that they were playing with a lot of reserves out there. So I think that some tweaks defensively, work on your offensive line, and get a guy like I said, a go to guy to take some pressure off of Andrews because Marquise hasn't been the number two guy like we thought or that deep threat as much as we thought that he was going to be.
I agree. I agree. Anything you want to see happen in free agency with any team, Dre? You think there'd be any more moves? There are rumors of Christian McCaffrey could be traded. I mean, they're signing start next week. Anything you want to see?
You know what I think would be an interesting thing if since Russ has been traded, DK Metcalf is he going to want to stay with Seattle or is he going to want to leave? Because he's actually a good receiver, when he's not goofy. So I think that that'll be an interesting move to me to see what happens with him. Of course, my wish list with the Ravens, I've said if they can just tweak some things through the draft and through free agency, I think that the Ravens are back in contention. Honestly, I think that they're a playoff team, but I think that if they could just make some little moves that can take them from a team that's going to make the playoffs to now we're talking about a Super Bowl contending team. And especially with, like Engraven said, you don't want that window um, is already tight. You don't want it to close like Uncle Rob had told us because once it shuts, it's hard to prow that thing back open.
And Lamar has to be sitting back like, he's getting 45, he's getting 50 mil. Let me go out there and ball out. bet on myself, take the money this year, and I'm gonna get broke off close to 50 mil, if not more.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Raj wants a Donkey Kong, as he calls him here.
Hey, if you, I mean, if you want them, man, I don't know if we'll how we'll get them, but it would be okay
You know who
to
I
go.
want actually, Raj, and I forgot to mention this. Whoever's listening, Dre, you mentioned it. Bobby Wagner was let go. I would love to see him play middle linebacker for the Ravens. Put him next to Pat Queen, and then maybe,
Mm,
like you said, add another pass rusher, and maybe address the O line. You might have something on that defense because when you have that coach, that play caller on the field with the green dot at the middle linebacker position, will make plays and call the right plays. And I think, like you said, Dre, half the battles being healthy, Bobby Wagner would be a beast for a good, stopgap next couple of years.
yeah, and look, let's see what the Ravens do um, this free agency. But I think that if they can just reach a little bit in that bag and be willing to
Hmm.
pull a little money out, then yeah, come on, let's go after these guys. We already gave you three guys, Ravens Nation. We said Bobby Wagner. We talked about the Honey Badger, and we also talked about
Chandler Jones,
Chandler
even,
Jones.
and I
So
even throw, like I say, I'll take any pass rusher at this point. But yeah, you got to sign at least one or two players that can help make an impact this year.
I
Because
totally agree
they got
with you.
some young guys, but like you said, if they can stay healthy, we'll see what happens. And I think we could see. I know Seattle needs a quarterback. What if Deshaun Watson ends up in Seattle?
That would be interesting. But
I
Deshaun
mean,
Watson,
they take chances on players who have issues or have taken chances in the past, Pete Carroll. But if his case, I mean, they're saying that by next month, we could know what's going to happen. So there could be some settlements. He could be, we could see. But I think Seattle did the right thing though because they weren't winning another Super Bowl with Russ. So get what you can.
yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, both parties were upset. So at this point, it's best to move on, start new, and see from there. But the Pete Um, Mike Tomlin's kind of fallen into this a little bit too of that old school way of winning at times. That run the football, let our defense carry us, and I think that that's okay. But for today's league, that's why I said I think Denver won because you need a quarterback. It all starts with the quarterback position, and then the head coach who is open minded to offense, or you need an offensive guy who is your head coach, because that's just the way of the league right now. It's all about protecting the offense, and it's not the days of the defense. You don't have guys knocking people's heads off anymore and whatnot. So I think that it starts, like I said, with the quarterback position, and then you build your team around the rest of that.
I take him back too, Raj. I mentioned his name. Bring back Justin
I,
Houston. Bring
I'm
out the
not a
coupon
fan.
book.
I'm not a fan of Calais Campbell, and I've been saying that since he's
Think
been in
he's
the
done.
Ravens.
Think he's
I
done.
think yeah, I think he's done. I just had he hasn't made to me he hasn't made the impact that I thought he was going to make when he got to this team.
I think age caught up with him, but I think he's just a good leader to have. Him and Justin Houston. They may not do much in the stat sheet, but gotta have that leadership. I mean, they need a lot of pieces on. They need depth, if anything. So
Yeah.
we'll see. They like to, bring out the coupon book. But like you said, we getting ready to close out this live, Dre. Let the people know how to keep up with us and keep up with you, my brother.
Hey, you can keep up with the Flex Zone. I mean, watch us. Right? We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. If you just put in the Flex Zone One, we're right there. Like and subscribe to our channel. We more videos like this, y'all. And if y'all want videos for us to do that we just did like today or any day, send us an email as well to the Flex Zone One. We're open. We'll do lives. Just let us know what. Let us know, because our motto is giving you sports how you want it when you need it. But
How
that's
you like the music, Dre? You like the music in the background, brother? You like how I did that for you?
yes, I do. I like that.
Yeah, man. It's
Uh,
nighttime. It's called nighttime drive, so we gotta put the kids to bed. I know you gotta be up
oh
early
Lord,
tomorrow.
don't get Ride started.
It's after 10 o'clock too. He likes it. Raj likes it, baby. It's called the nighttime drive because we sending them to bed. here on the Flex Zone. And Dre got to get up early tomorrow. But let the people know how to keep up with you in the mornings and all you got going on, my good brother.
And look, I do Monday through Friday. I'm on 88.9 FM as well. I do Good Morning Baltimore. You can follow the Flex Zone again because I do the Flex Zone Sports Report on there as well. So the Flex Zone is any and everywhere, y'all. Like I said, we give you sports how you want it, when you need it. Let us know. We got you.
A very special guest this Monday on the Flagship Podcast. Your god sister Brittany will be making her return to the
Yes.
Flex Zone. Let the people know what we're doing this month of March and what she's going to be talking about. She's a huge Ravens fan.
And so this whole month we're dedicating it to our women. So ladies, we got a bunch of women lined up to talk some sports. We already had a great guest with my co-host and my sister Kelly. In the conversation, we talked about sports. We talked about sneakers. I mean, we fit it all here in sports, and we got a great number of guests coming this month, and more guests honestly throughout the year, but definitely this month we're focusing on our women in sports conversation. Make sure y'all tune in. Y'all will not be disappointed if y'all just make sure y'all not only check out this video, but what we were talking about with Kelly and our future videos to come. Y'all will not be disappointed by the conversations we had. If you think about what we did last month with our Sports and Blackness series, you think about what we're doing right now with sports and women, the Flex Zone, we got y'all, man. We're doing some great things right now.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Raj said it. Hey, drop your sunglasses emojis in the chat. We getting ready to get out of here. We put the kids to bed. Keep up with Dre, as he said. If you want to donate to the cause, hashtag DeflectZone1. Episode 334 coming this Monday. Don't forget Cravante and Tristan. They'll have a WFT report this coming week end, if not by the end of the week. Lots of content coming to the page. Hit that bell for notifications. Like the video, share, and subscribe. For Dre and myself, God's favorite host, the host with the moist. Dre, we are the only place giving them sports how you want it.
When you need it.
Acknowledge us. We the ones, baby. Because we are the head of the sports podcast table. And again, we will be back. There will be more free agency news. We'll probably do another one next week. We'll keep the content coming for you here on the Flex Zone. And again, appreciate you guys for tuning in on this impromptu live as we get ready to get out of here. For Dre and the rest of the Flex Zone crew, I'm Byron Dixon, y'all. We gone.